Hello, this is Grillenheimer, and I know I talk a lot of different stuff here, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but maybe just simply obvious news because of the woke agenda is basically ESG. It's company credit scores, et cetera, et cetera, and how they, the more they virtual signal what flag they're flying, what side they're on, the more money that they're going to get, and the more they try to interject this ideology upon their employees, which is basically like CRT in the classroom, dividing us as much as possible. Some of even the company I work with, I have found some hard truths here last year, and I'm just like, oh, gee. But I'm not leaving. I can't afford to do that. But how to explain this? And again, this may be just bluntly obvious. Bud Light, okay? Look what just happened to them. Look at the lady who we saw the video over and over, and her resume and all the very highly intelligent, universities and colleges that she came from to do what she does and make big money, and the decision therein where she claims she owned the company, right? Look at her now. That her decisions, how it hurt that company, and where she came from, and why she's thinking like this. And then Miller Lite. Well, we have to go further than that. Remember Mars recently with their Hershey bars, and Jeremy's response to that. Gillette and Jeremy's response. I mean, it's funny when something goes so extremely woke or so extremely divisive. Well, that's a better way of putting it. Daily Wire or somebody always has to come back and just show the idiocy of these companies, and it's just funny, and it's very telling because a lot of these places they're not putting themselves completely out of business. Bud Light, we'll see. Coors, Miller Lite, we'll see. But even Target, with a lot of the stuff that's going on with Target right now. Burger King, about autumn, winter of 2020, said some very stupid, divisive comments. And their stock has kind of been all over the place. And the one over here, one by us, we just don't go to. And then that's another one, it just closed because they're not getting a whole lot of business. Whether it's because of their statements or not, I don't know. Subway, the sale in the whole Subway being up for sale starting from like February to possibly current. I don't know if it really sold or not. Their stock, not stockholder, their stock name restaurant, something or other. I was kind of trying to look up them. And Hasbro, I was on Facebook and somebody was like, well, why? And people are not just, it should be obvious because one, we had issues with, and I'm not even a Magic fan. I got a couple of Magic cards. I don't know how to play the game. They were getting blue-haired teenagers that probably don't believe in God, don't believe in the country, don't believe in themselves, to do a lot of art for the cards. Number one, they went woke a couple of years ago. For them, it's been a while because Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. Then they had that, was it last year, the new something, it was very woke, and I'm just like, that's when I just stopped collecting completely. And I'm like, nope, if I get anything, it's Dragon Ball. If I even see Dragon Ball, which is hard to find around here. But long story short, and then we have this new Transformer show, which is geared to 5 to 9 year olds. I haven't even watched the crap. It looks bad. I don't care. I'm 50 something years old now. I'm not going to sit and watch. I mean, the last kiddie show like that I watched was Rescue Bots, and it was done well. I liked Rescue Bots, actually. I was trying to get my son into it at the time, get him into Transformers and something we could watch together. He didn't want to have anything to do with it. And it was a fun little show. It was probably one of the last good fun little shows that they had, because Bots, well, I couldn't watch that either. But I don't know if it was exactly woke or whatever, but I don't think that lasted very long at all. But I will say this, because of the whole, if you're seeing it right now, there's conservatives or even not conservatives that are doing these videos on commentating about Transformers Earthspark, and oh no, they're pushing pronouns on your kids. Yeah, and non-binaryism. And now we have a lot of people in the fandom are like, well, do they have a sex? They're just robots. Why did we bring female Autobots into play? Anyway, they were just simply trying back in the 80s to increase their audience from just all boys to also girls, because it's all about selling toys. It's just all about selling toys. And that's why a lot of kids were mad when they killed off Optimus. One, it wasn't selling as much. It was one of the bigger items that probably wasn't being sold as often. It was a little more expensive. The leaders, Optimus and Megatron, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of things go into that, and Hasbro was like, well, these aren't selling. Let's push these new characters, put it in the movie, kill off Optimus. We're going to do the same thing with Duke and G.I. Joe. We saw what happened there. Which Duke only went into a coma. But I digress. So I started looking into shareholders, and the stockholders and shareholders of a lot of these companies: Bud Light, Vanguard, and BlackRock. At least Vanguard had two different ones under two different names. BlackRock had about three. In what? Bud Light and Hasbro. And Hasbro is very woke. And we all know this, but we still like buying this crap anyway. But I'm not anymore. I'm just not. I'm too old. I can't keep... I'm not going to spend $25-something on a figure that used to be about $12-15 not that long ago. So forget it. If I'm, unless it comes down to a price point of $3 for a figure about this high, I'm not spending $20+ on it, because the price keeps going up and up and up because of reasons. And they're not making as much product as they used to either. That could be material issues. That could be on purpose. That could be, I don't know. Plastics are made out of petroleum, people. Do you know that? A lot of us do. And a lot of green-haired and blue-haired people don't understand where our plastics come from. Okay? Petroleum. It's not just for gas in your cars. So let me wrap this up a little quicker. So, Target, with their campaign on getting the alphabet spread to babies, toddlers, young kids. Hey, wear this rainbow colored outfit, and it says this over and over, and it's all rainbowed, and we want you to show off your pride, etc., etc. It's disgusting. It's aiming it at kids. I don't care what you do in the bedroom, but don't put it on my kids. And that's why you're seeing some of these videos of people going through Target going, what is this crap? What is this doing in the kids section? Just like a lot of these books.
Oh gosh, they're banning books in our libraries. Oh gosh. Oh God.
Do you know the books? A lot of these, I remember going into Books A Million and sneaking into this massage book section, because you would find nude people in there, and you see people just start naked in these how-to massage books in the bookstore. But the Playboys and the penthouses and the high society or whatever, were blocked up on the other side of the counter in gas stations. But you can go into a bookstore, pull up the massage stuff, and yeah, there's naked people right there for you to see. And that's what a lot of these books they are touting to our toddlers, to our grade schoolers, kids in elementary schools.
Oh, how dare you take that book away? Well, you're banning books.
Well, it's your agenda. We're against this agenda of over-sexualizing our children. Again, we don't care what you do in the bedroom. Stop pushing this on our young kids that haven't even hit puberty yet. Do you get the message? Obviously they don't, because they have an agenda. So like I've gotten off track. Bud Light, Miller, Target, probably Burger King. Burger King, their stock is not public or something strange. Maybe not their stock, but some of the shareholders are not obviously public. So more than likely, I would imagine Vanguard and BlackRock have their mitts in Burger King, or they wouldn't be saying what they said 3 years ago. Epic Games, that owns Fortnite. Sony and Lego a couple of years ago heavily invested in Epic Games, and so has KKR, Vulcan Capital, Kleiner Perkins, and BlackRock. I just found that minutes ago. Third Point Ventures and all that. Subway, I mentioned the Subway and Target, and a lot of these in Miller and Bud Light are also guess who their shareholders are? Same people. Look at a woke company. Look at their shareholders. You're going to see these same two groups, probably in multiple smaller named, like Vanguard Investments Corp or Investments LLC or something along those lines, and then you'll just see simply Vanguard also, or BR. I'll just call it BR, for BlackRock. And they'll have one or two or maybe three, slightly different names. It's all the same company, and they have, maybe 8% here, 3% there, 5%, 5 point something percent there. Added up, they have over 10-15% in these companies, as well as Vanguard, and they're the ones pushing this on us. They're pushing it on in our companies. They're dripping it through with DE&I crap, which is just, like I've said, is nothing but CRT and CRT of our kids in public classrooms, which is in CRT in the workplace, DE&I. I have to go through the same crap and just spout out crap to match their crap to keep my job. Fortunately, a lot of people where I work are Christian. A lot of people have opened their eyes, and some of the earliest, thanks to the pandemic of 2020, and being forced to work from home and being on a computer. We can turn our camera off so they don't have to see our faces. Most of the time, they want to see our faces to make sure that, hey, are you at your computer or not? But they'll always start a meeting with a DE&I moment, and some of the original couple of meetings we had were very divisive. I could see faces of even some of my black friend co-workers that were like, and I could see their disposition change, thinking this doesn't sound good at all. And now, in the past year and a half or so, they've been trying to twist it around so it sounds a little better, so they're not being completely exclusive of people that look like me. Yeah. But originally, it was hard-lined all against us, people that look like me. And everybody noticed. The guy would sit and read the thing, and you could tell he was just reading right off a piece of paper. and nobody liked what they were hearing, because a huge majority, not all of us, not 100%, but a majority of the people that work with the company I work at are Christian. And our ears were burning. So thank goodness we can turn off the camera on our laptops, because nobody was happy. And sometimes you can hear the flat voice of some of the people that got chosen to do DE&I moments not liking what they're reading, not agreeing with what they're reading. But they're reading it anyway because it's enforced. And then when we would have smaller meetings with our smaller groups, we were forced to have a DE&I moment in our small groups. And the manager would always go, well, who wants to do it next week? Who wants to do it next month? Who's going to be next? Crickets. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody. And I was one of 2 white guys in a group about 12 people. Nobody likes this stuff. Nobody. So this is why you are seeing a huge, lost my terms. I'm saying all this just because I've been really looking and pouring into this ever since the boycott, the Bud Light boycott, because of what they decided, what flag, and a lot of those beer companies are pretty obvious, even in the past, that we know that they're not all completely American. And American does not mean sexist. But we should be able to, that may be another video. But I lost my train of thought again. But the boycott is working. We have to boycott even more, no matter how hard it is. I hit Walmart every week for staples. I wish I didn't have to, instead of just going to Publix or Winn-Dixie or somewhere like that, because those places are a little more than Walmart. So I'll get staples at Walmart, and then I'll go to the grocery stores for like meat and other things, and deli and things I normally can't find at Walmart. And if you have noticed, my mother has definitely noticed that the more you see more at Walmart, they are selling more generic stuff and pushing their generic milk. And you look at the milk section, and you don't see anything local hardly much anymore. It's just their milk. There's no choice. And in a free country, we should have choices of what we can buy, what brands we like. And Walmart has been slowly taking and dripping that away over the decades. And when did this mostly happen? After Mr. Walton passed. Because like I said in a very old video, when all Walmarts are super, there are no more super Walmarts. I know that sounds dumb, but it's a truth. So if everyone has an EV vehicle, no one's getting an EV discount. Have you thought of that? Anybody thought of that? Have some of your utility companies been going, hey, get this, you can get a discount. You can get well, if everybody's on it, the discount's gone. Because they've made their agenda and made known everybody's gone to a certain vehicle. So, there's no incentive anymore. Take the incentive out. We'll make money. Oh, look, our profits margins went up, maybe 0.5% or 1.2%. Yeah, because you took the discounts away from the people that incentivized them to get the EV vehicles in the first place. And now it's supposedly 2030 or 2035 or whatever. And everybody finally has an EV vehicle, and which made me think, because my parents' vehicle, their battery died last night, and I had to go help them. And I'm thinking, okay, I have a gas-powered vehicle. I'll rev up the engine so we can try to, got the cables up there, and, it didn't work. He's got more issues with his car that may not be just the battery, but the battery may have been so dead we couldn't jump it off. So, and I'm thinking, what happens when both of these vehicles are EV? Can one battery jump off the other one? What's that going to, what kind of load is that going to put on the battery on a car that's all electric? It's kind of like the Transformer the card game in a way, because when you move counters from one, or damage from one character to another, that damage is gone forever off that character to another one, or vice versa, because it's not going to create more energy. And that's the energy you need to keep the car going. And if you're transferring energy from one EV car to another, you're draining the energy of the other car. Are the years of jumping cars off with bad batteries coming to an end in about less than 20 years? We need Trump. We need somebody. We need somebody other than this fascist dictator we call a president. Excuse me. He's our vice president. He will always be a vice president in my mind. Think about this. Has anybody really thought about this? Again, I looked into the shareholders of these companies, and people were like, oh my gosh, Transformers has gone woke. Duh, Hasbro's been woke for years. They were really showing their colors the past 2 years. Now they're injecting it in your kids' cartoons. And it's obvious. They're not hiding it anymore. They injected it in your Magic card game, and you didn't care. You were more concerned about the price of your cards because they were flooding the market, or did the summer special all wrong, or whatever, the exclusive annual box, or because when you bought a box, you bought boosters, you didn't know what you were buying. They're screwing things up. Yeah. It's Hasbro, because Hasbro bought Wizards of the Coast years ago. Companies buying, smaller companies buying, and they're getting too big for their britches. We're having these vile shareholders getting their hands in all the companies that we enjoy and used to love. And they're the ones bringing them down to this mediocre level for the sake of thinking, we're done. We're going to buy it anyway. Things to think about. Things to really think about. And that's why apps like Public Square are so necessary now. I hate to say. I have it. I hardly get to use it because we always go to the same junk places all the time. The same woke places all the time. Let me tell you a few places I don't go anymore. Subway. Because the past year or two, or since the pandemic, everybody's prices have been increasing for all the obvious reasons. So think before you go buy fast food, because fast food is not the price of fast food that we grew up with. It is like the price of sit-down food now. It is 2023. Those days are gone, and I don't think we can get them back. I hate to be negative, but I don't think we're getting those prices back, where you can go through a drive-through at a Checkers or Rally's, if there's any of those left, and get a $3-4 combo. You know, here's a 5-spot, and you got a drink, burger, and fries. Those days are gone. You know, you go to a Hardee's or Burger King somewhere, you get a burger. The burger's maybe this big instead of this big, or however they used to be. And now it's almost like $10 a combo for one person. I remember Guthrie's used to be around about $5 to $6 for one person. Not even a combo. Well, yeah, fries, chicken fingers, and a drink. And I even complained back then, like 15, 20 years ago, how small the fingers were back then. It's worse now. In getting a box of chicken and a drink from a Guthrie's around here, yeah, I'm in the South, or even a Zaxby's, over $10. You have a family of 3 or 4, you're looking at over $30, $40 for just a simple family of 4, and you're going to find yourself eating out a whole lot less. And I'm sure you're already noticing that in the past year and a half, as a result of this vice president's What I'm talking about is the Robinette, the one that's robbing us, who on his first day of office signed the executive order to close the pipelines, and closed to where we're having to buy and import our oil and petroleum for not just gasoline, but plastics. Petroleum makes this. Petroleum helps make our computers. Petroleum helps make your garbage bags. Petroleums help make this. That's why everything's gone up.
Oh no, that pipeline! We were selling that across the seas. I live in Canada. I'm much smarter than you.
Really? No, Trump had us self-sufficient. We may be selling a majority of that across the sea, but we still also were using that for ourselves. And he didn't just execute one pipeline, he did a few others as well. And supposedly fracking is bad and all this mess. So, and they're trying to get us to be all electric. It's not going to work. As Rush Limbaugh used to say, can we use solar power to get a rocket into space? No, we can't. I've gone way too long on this, but then I had a whole lot of other, at my work, I was making a list of all these companies that are just woke, that have their shareholders, that BlackRock and Vanguard have their fingers in so much. And when you hear Ford today is a new one, their Ford truck, I'm just going to call it that had multicolors on it. I saw an image of it. I hope it's not photoshopped or AI'd or something. If this is true, Ford is next. Found on road, dead. And we're going to see. We got to put these companies out of business, which is the only way. I hate to say that. I don't like boycotts, but we're using the Democrat playbook that they started with their boycotts years ago on them. And this is the only way we can hurt these shareholders that are owning the companies of our companies. And they're the ones, the constituents of these companies, because a large company is going to do what their shareholders tell them to do. A suggestion is not a mere suggestion in your box. It is no longer just a suggestion box from the shareholders. The shareholders say something, they say jump, the company's going to jump. The shareholders say stop doing this, change this marketing, the company's going to follow suit. And this is all about marketing and getting these woke, I was just going to say blue-haired women from colleges or from these elite colleges. Of course, she didn't have blue hair, like the woman on suspension or fired or whatever from Bud Light. From these elite colleges pushing this ideological crap in their woke marketing to us, the undeplorables. Is that right? Or are we just deplorables? Is that what Hillary said? I can't remember. But, I mean, yeah. They think we are dumb enough that they can pull the wool over our eyes and that, well, they're going to buy it anyway. Show the Ukrainian flag. Show this. Show that. Do these colors. Do this. Do that flag. Do it. You push this. Your virtual signaling. It's going to help your ESG. It's going to help this. You will get this more from your whatever, and your stocks are going to go up, and the business model is going to do better for you because you're doing what we're telling you. That's the only way we can hurt these guys. I hate to say that. I don't like it. I got to get back to work. Thank you for listening. I didn't mean to go 30 minutes on this, but I think it's very necessary. And I know Glenn Beck, the boy who cried wolf, yeah, that's what I call him a lot, has been barking about this for over a year now. And it's just too much not to say, too much not to notice what's really going on. And I open up a few Transformer fans eyes when I put that, and I said, "Oh," because I looked it up. A lot of people were like, why are they pushing pronouns on our kids in Earthspark? Look at this. Vanguard and BR have 5 different little shareholder companies in Hasbro. It's obvious. And they were like, oh my gosh, wow. Duh. Did you not notice it in Magic in the past 2 years? They own Magic. Wizards of the Coast is just a division of Hasbro now. They're not their own thing. They're not out of California, which is where I think they originally started. And they're about to not just dilute Magic like they did last year. Now they're diluting Dungeons and Dragons. And a lot of people are leaving that too for other pen and paper type games because they don't want to give Hasbro any more money. So do what you can, and when it comes down to it, if things get worse, we're not going to have any money to spend on them anyway. We're drowning. A lot of people are drowning in this economy because I don't think we're in a recession anymore. I think we're in a depression, and they're just not acknowledging it because they decided to redefine. And before we can communicate, we must define our terms because they undefined the word. I just said it. Recession last year. So, no, we're not having one. Hopefully, I won't be talking about this much more, but we'll see. It's just really depressing to see all this stuff, but it is hopeful and a little more illuminating as we see some pushback on this. I hate to see businesses go by the wayside. But after what Budweiser and Miller have done and seeing pushback work, hopefully we'll wake up these companies and maybe doubtful drop some shareholders. I don't know how that works. I don't know much about stock. I've learned a lot of this in doing this presentation and getting ready for this. So we're just going to keep going and see what happens. So when you see a stupid commercial and think, boy, they must really think we're dumb, go online, see who their shareholders are, if it's publicly available. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. As always, have not just a great day, have a blessed day. Peace.